My brother made my life a living mess for years. Then he got my wife pregnant, and after our parents cut him off and changed their will, he came crawling to me for help. This is the true story of how I finally chose myself. My name is Marcus. I am 31 now. But this starts long before that, back when I still thought family meant the same thing to everyone. I grew up in a house where noise was normal. My dad worked long hours, my mom kept the world spinning, and my younger brother Leo lived like gravity did not apply to him. If a rule existed, he found the edge and jumped off it. If attention was in the room, he took it. If trouble were a hallway, he ran down it with both arms wide. Here is the part that surprises people who hear this story for the first time. Leo was the favorite, not me. He was the one who got the big slice of cake, the new sneakers, and the last word. My mom doted on him like it was her job. She did his laundry, packed his lunch, and asked me to help him with homework, even when I had exams of my own. The logic was always the same. He is your brother. Help him. The part that no one said out loud was that the help only went one way. I was the quiet kid. Books, projects, coding, anything that had a beginning and an end that made sense. Leo was the loud kid. He needed an audience. We were oil and water from the start, and instead of my parents helping us find middle ground, they just kept giving him the map and asking me to follow. At first, his pranks felt like brother stuff. He hid my glasses. He messed with my notebooks. He would read my journal and then run to my mom, performing outrage on her behalf about whatever teenage thought I had written the night before. When I complained, I was told not to be so dramatic. Boys tease, brothers wrestle. He does not mean it. The message was simple. Do not make waves. Be understanding. Things crossed the line when I was 14. I was being bullied at school by some kids who delighted in picking apart anything sensitive about me. I told no one. Leo found out, and instead of helping, he joined the show. He called me a loser, 4 eyes, monkey. He laughed when the bullies shoved me. He told me I should disappear. The night he told me to end my own life is a night I still remember in colors. I kept that sentence like a stone in my pocket for years. If this sounds sad, stay with me, because it turns. My dad found out what had been happening when Leo tried to set my hair on fire during a stupid argument. A lighter, a spark, the sick smell of singe. My mom said he was playing. My dad said he was done. He threatened to call the police. He sat Leo down and told him that cruelty is not personality, it is failure. Then he came to my room and said he had waited for Leo to grow up, and he was wrong to wait so long. For the first time in my life, I felt seen by him. He enrolled me in a mixed martial arts class, not to make me violent, to make me stand up straight. The gym changed me. It taught me how to breathe through fear and how to set boundaries with my body. A few months later, Leo stole the cash I had been saving from chores. I caught him with his bike on the sidewalk. He smirked and told me to cry to Dad. Something in me clicked. I punched him once, clean, right to the mouth, took my money back, and walked away. He howled. My mom scolded me. My dad asked for the story and told Leo he was lucky a black eye was all he got. After that, Leo never put his hands on me again. He still used words like knives, but the physical hold he had over my life cracked. High school ended. I got a scholarship to my dream university. My dad threw a barbecue to celebrate. My mom smiled for the photos. Leo lurked on the edges, pretending I was a lamp he could ignore. When I left for college, it felt like stepping out of a pressure chamber. I breathed. I studied. I made friends who liked me because I was me. In my second year, I met Sophie. She was the type of person who keeps eye contact and really hears you. We came from different backgrounds. My family argued loudly and forgave quietly. Hers was religious and strict, big on grace and appearances. We started as friends, then something more. We got serious. We made plans. Then life made a bigger one. Sophie got pregnant in our senior year. We were young and scared, but we wanted to do right by the life we had made. We got married soon after graduation. A small ceremony, backyard lights, music from a playlist we built together. For a while, I believed I had slipped into the life I had always pictured. Stable job, wife I loved, baby on the way. I thought the worst of my past was behind me. I have to be honest here, because if this script is going to help anyone, it has to be truthful. Sophie cheated on me twice in those early years. First with a married coworker, on and off. Second time with an ex during a trip to see her family. Both times, I left for a while and then came back. I told myself I was choosing forgiveness. I told myself I did not want our child to grow up in a broken home. I told myself all the classic lines, and sometimes those lines are true, but sometimes they are just blankets you pull over the cold truth because you are not ready to get out of bed. We did counseling. We said the right words. We went forward. 4 years passed. My trust never grew back all the way, but our day-to-day life felt calm. Our son, Noah, was the center of my world. He had my eyes and Sophie's smile. And if you are a parent, you already know there is a string inside you that ties to your kid in a way that does not untie. 3 months ago, my life tilted again. Sophie sat me down at the kitchen table and told me there was something I needed to know. She said she had been in a long-term affair. She said Noah might not be mine. People talk about the sound of your heart dropping. I swear I heard it hit the floor. I asked who. She said I should not push her. I asked again. She looked at me like a person looks when they know a bomb is in their mouth, and opening it will explode the room. She whispered a name. Leo. That moment froze. Then everything sped up. I asked her what she meant. She told me that when I had first brought her home to meet my family years earlier, she and my brother had gotten friendly. He had been charming with her when he had always been cold with me, and she took that as welcome. She started inviting him to hang out with us because she thought it would heal things between me and me. He flirted when I was not there. She called it harmless. Then it was not harmless anymore. One night, while staying at my parents' place over the holidays, they crossed a line. She left early and told me she was not feeling well. Weeks later, we learned she was pregnant. I wanted the room to stop moving. Sophie admitted she did not know if Noah was mine or Leo's. She admitted she chose me because she believed I was the stable brother, the one who would show up. She said she tried to end things with Leo, but they kept finding each other again. They lied about business trips. They lied about late nights. One lie covered another until her entire week was a costume. I asked why she married me if her heart wanted him. She said she loved me as a father for Noah and as a partner in life, and she did not know how to stop what she had started. There are sentences you hear that feel like a fire alarm in your bones. That was one. I packed a suitcase while she cried and asked me to fight for us. I told her I could fight many things, but not math and not blood. I checked into a hotel. In the morning, I went to my parents' house. I told them everything. My mom denied it with a fierceness that was almost impressive. Her boy would never. My dad went very still, like a lake right before a storm. I called Leo with my parents listening. He denied it, then blamed Sophie, then bragged, then mocked me, then realized he had said too much with the wrong audience. My dad took the phone and said words I had never heard him say to Leo. He said he was cut off. Tuition, allowance, car insurance. Done. He told him that he had failed as a son and a brother, and we will not be paying for you to fail as a man. My mom cried. My dad hung up. I watched a family tilt on its axis and understood that truth does not always set you free gently. Sometimes it pushes. I found a lawyer the next day. My dad helped. We filed for divorce. Sophie's attorney tried to push for alimony because I earned more, but the court sees patterns. The judge ordered a paternity test. When the results arrived, the page felt heavy in my hands. Noah was Leo's child. I went for a walk that turned into a run that turned into me sitting on a curb with my head in my hands. I had held that boy on my chest the day he was born and promised him 1,000 things. Now the world was telling me that the promise had been built on a lie. People will judge me for what I did next. Some already have. I chose to step away from Noah completely, not because of him, because of her. Staying connected to her child meant staying connected to her. I needed to detach. I needed to heal. I did not have it in me to be a stepfather after being tricked into fatherhood. I chose myself. It is the hardest sentence to say out loud, but it is true. I moved into a small apartment. It was the first place I had lived on my own as an adult. I bought a couch that fit me, a table that did not wobble, and plants that I forgot to water half the time. I cooked simple meals and went to the gym again. I slept, and sometimes I did not. I started therapy. I told my story out loud to a stranger who did not flinch, and for the first time, I believed the story would not own me forever. 2 weeks later, my dad called. He told me he planned to change his will. He was stubborn by nature, and when he cut a line, it stayed cut. He said he no longer trusted Leo with anything of value, and that value included family legacy. He would leave the house to me with the condition that my mom could live there as long as she wanted. He would leave Leo $1. The rest of the savings and insurance would come to me, about $2 million in total. I did not ask for any of it, and we did not celebrate. It was simply my dad doing what he felt was just. Somehow, Leo learned about the change. I guess that my mom slipped, because a mother's heart does not shut off even when it should. He called me the next day with a voice I hardly recognized. He said the school had cut him loose because he could not pay tuition. He said Sophie was pushing hard for child support. He said he needed a start, and I should talk to our parents and fix this. I laughed, and the laugh came from a place I did not like in myself. I told him the truth, but he refused to learn our entire lives. Actions come with consequences. He told me I was being unfair. We said things brothers should never say. He cried. I hung up. After the call, I replayed the sound of him crying. I remembered him as a toddler, with sticky hands and a smile that made my mom forget every rule she had. I wondered if I should call my parents and ask them to throw him a lifeline. Then I remembered the night he stood in a circle of friends and made me the punchline at my own expense. I remembered the line he crossed with the woman I loved. I remembered the paper that said another man fathered the child I had rocked to sleep. I sat with all of that and decided that pity is not the same as wisdom. There is a part of this story you have not heard yet. It matters because it shows what people become when the spotlight goes away. My dad is not a perfect man, but in the months after the fallout, he became a better one. He started calling me just to talk. We golfed on weekends. We laughed. He listened without trying to solve everything in a sentence or two. My mom stayed quiet and distant. I think she mourned the fantasy of Leo more than the reality of him. She slipped once and called him. My dad found out. They fought so big that the air in their house changed. He told her that if she chose ongoing contact with Leo behind his back, he would leave. She put the phone down and did not pick it up again. Sophie's life with Leo was exactly what you think it would be. My cousin told me they were living in a small rental on the bad side of town. He fixed cars for cash. She picked up extra shifts. They fought. They talked about starting something new. They posted photos that looked happy from 2 steps away and exhausted from 1 step. What about me? I rebuilt slowly. I got a promotion. I took long walks at night and learned the names of the streets in my new neighborhood. I went back to the gym and trained until the noise inside me got tired. I learned to cook a perfect omelet. My therapist asked me what I wanted in a partner if I ever dated again. I told her kindness, honesty, and boredom in the best way. The kind of boredom that comes from trust, from routines that feel like a blessing, not a cage. About 6 months after the divorce, I went to an open mic night at a coffee shop. The host asked if anyone had a story to tell. I raised my hand and told a version of this one with no names and no blame, just lessons. People clapped, and then people came up after and told me their own versions. A woman told me her sister did the same thing to her. Different faces, same ache. A guy said he was the one who cheated, and he was trying to grow into someone who never would again. I left that night feeling like the world is full of broken stories, and sometimes telling yours helps someone stitch theirs. You might be wondering if there is a neat ending. There is not. Life rarely hands you those. There is instead a quiet, steady middle where I learned to be okay with not knowing how some chapters end. My parents and I are closer. My mom has softened with me in a way I did not expect. She apologized for all the years she told me to be the bigger person while asking nothing of Leo. I forgave her because holding anger never fed me. I do not speak to Leo. If he ever truly changes, I will wish him well from a distance. I hope he becomes a good father to Noah. I hope he learns what love is supposed to look like, and I hope he teaches that to his son. People ask me if I regret walking away from Noah. I regret the world that made that choice necessary. I regret the lies that put me in that impossible hallway. But I do not regret choosing myself once in my life. I had not done it before. It was time. If you are listening to this and your stomach is tight because my story sounds like yours, let me offer this. You do not owe loyalty to someone who uses your loyalty to hurt you. Forgiveness can be holy, but so can goodbye. You can love your family from a safe distance. You can grieve a life you wanted and still build a better one. And you can decide that the next time someone asks you to ignore your own truth for the sake of peace, you will choose truth first and let peace follow when it is ready. One more thing. My therapist gave me an exercise that I still do when the old pain tries to knock on the door. I write down a sentence that I know is true. Then I write down why it is true. Then I write down what I can do today that matches that truth. Here is mine for tonight. I deserve relationships that do not ask me to disappear. It is true because my value is not a vote. It is built in. And what I can do today is simple. I can answer only calls that bring me light. I can tell the next person I love exactly what honesty looks like to me. I can keep building a life where respect is the weather, not the forecast. My brother made my life hell. Then he got my wife pregnant. Then he tried to drag me back into the fire when the flames finally reached him. I stepped away. I let the burn stop with me. That is my ending for now. Maybe someday there will be a new chapter where healing shows up in a way I cannot see yet. For tonight, I am content with the quiet. The couch fits me. The plants are finally alive. The house is peaceful, and my heart, for the first time in years, feels like a place I want to live.